Hello, my name is Mr. Q, and welcome back to A Kid Explains History. So, we took a little break, 6 months, but we're back for the last video of the year and our 40th episode. That's a lot of episodes. I started when I was 7. Look at how young I was. It's quite exciting. But it's not just the end of the year, it's the end of the decade. With the 2020s about to begin, I want to tell you about 5 things that happened 100 years ago in 1920, which was the last time people got ready to live in the 20s. The end of World War I led to an economic boom in a lot of countries, so it was a time of prosperity and fun. That's why it was called the Roaring Twenties and the Jazz Age. All of this lasted to the stock market crash of 1929, where America lost $26 billion of their invested wealth. That was the start of the Great Depression. But we're not talking about that. We are talking about 1920. Alright, let's start. Number 5, women's right to vote. The 19th Amendment was ratified by Congress on August 8, 1920, finally making it legal for women to vote in the United States. A lot of other countries had made this change earlier, but better late than never. We did a video on the women's suffrage movement, so check it out right here. Now, this was the second constitutional amendment in the space of a year, because the 18th Amendment was ratified in January of 1919. But that's not 1920, right? Are you mixing up the dates, Mr. Q? I will explain. The amendment was designed to come into effect 1 year later, which it did in January of 1920. It's number 4 on our list, prohibition. Okay, cool you say, but what is prohibition? Well, it meant that people in the United States were prohibited from selling or consuming alcoholic beverages. That's right, beer, wine, vodka, whiskey, they were all illegal for the 13 years this amendment was in effect. It all got reversed in 1933 with the 21st Amendment because, well, you see, it kind of backfired. A lot of people basically ignored the law, and it made a black market for mobsters to make money from, like Al Capone. Number 3, the League of Nations. A worldwide intergovernmental organization designed to keep the peace. It held its first executive council meeting on January 16th, 1920. Now you might be thinking, don't you mean the United Nations? No, the United Nations was formed after World War II and is still with us. The League of Nations was formed after World War I and pretty much stopped being a thing after World War II happened. So it didn't work out too well. Number 2, the Harlem Renaissance. By 1920, some 300,000 African Americans had left the South and went to the North. In what was known as the Great Migration, many settled in a New York City neighborhood called Harlem, which attracted artists, writers, and musicians who led a cultural awakening for African Americans. On August 10th, 1920, the first blues record was issued, a style of music that would change popular culture. Which leads us to number 1. By the way, this list wasn't a ranking. It wasn't in any particular order, it was just a list. 1920 was the year the mass media was born. On November 2nd, KDKA in Pittsburgh went to air as the first commercially licensed radio station. For the first time, the U.S. presidential election results were reported instantaneously. And by 1926, there were over 700 commercial stations being listened to on radios called wirelesses, which led to TV, the internet, Twitter, and, the way I'm talking to you now, YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. And we're all doing it on, get this, the wireless internet. The more things change, the more they stay the same. What do you think is going to happen in this next 20s? Tell me in the comments below. Will it war again? Will it be a bit of a bust? Will there be an island with dinosaurs near Costa Rica? Will there be unicorns? Will there be a moon base? I don't know. I'm starting off this decade at 12, and I'm ending this decade 22. Will it be weird if it's still a Kid Explains History? Should it just be a Dude Explains History? Alright, well, it's time to go, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Just hit that notification bell if you want to be the first to know when another video is coming out that's exciting. Guess it's time to go. Bye!